A little talk about your next quantum leaps in life and what is the next thing you can expect from the best results you're going to have very soon. By the way, I don't actually need glasses, but I like to make you ponder on very interesting questions. That is how I keep this job being entertaining. Now, more seriously, this book is called Mastery. It is by George Leonard, and it is something that really made me have many awakenings in my life, I think 5 years ago, and it made me drop the expectations I had for my students, realizing by reading that book that just not everyone is learning at the same rate, and not everyone is going to have the same pitfalls, and how to decide which path you are on and how to make progress faster in your chosen path. Basically, in this book, George Leonard is explaining to us that after teaching people, I think he was teaching Aikido or something like that for 70 years or something, he realized that there were basically three main profiles of people learning new skills and learning things. The first one that you may identify with eventually is called the dabbler, the person who is going to start something, don't finish it, start another thing, for example, another martial art. So he started with karate, and he doesn't like it because he doesn't make progress super fast. So he's going to move to judo. Oh, still no progress. Oh, I'm going to do boxing. Oh, I get punched. It hurts. Oh, something else. And they never stop, they keep doing new things, but therefore they never really get results in anything. I think a very common field into which we can see this profile, the dabbler, is in online marketing or any type of make money online thing, because people see an ad for some crypto investment and they think they are going to become a crypto millionaire. So they start investing into crypto. Oh, they don't make money. Eventually they even lose some. Oh, they stop. Next, oh, I'm gonna make a blog and I get passive income. 2 months later, oh, didn't get results, oh, didn't get any money, oh, it's shit, it doesn't work. Now I'm going to do TikTok ads. 2 months later, didn't make any money. Oh, it sucks, doesn't work. And they stop and they keep doing something else and they never really accomplish anything. The second big learning profile is called the obsessive, the person who will start having a bit of progress, but as soon as the progress starts to plateau or decrease a little bit because he's getting less motivation or anything, or maybe he's got less time to practice, he's gonna get obsessive and he really wants to get results and he wants to prove people he can do it. But therefore, at some point, burnout and depression, no more, really no more energy because he has been pushing over the edge non-stop, burning the candles by both sides non-stop for like 6 months. Massive crash, drop of motivation, or really burn out sometimes. And this profile is very common among top-level athletes, for example, or really high-level business people. Maybe in Wall Street, you may see guys like that all the time. So they end up taking drugs to try to sustain, but it is just not sustainable on the long term. Eventually, you can go through this for like 6 months, 3 months, maybe, but like on a whole lifetime, it is just not going to be sustainable. And the last one is called he calls that a hacker. I don't really understand why he calls it that way, so I will call this the stagnant profile, the person who is stagnating. So it is somebody who has made a bit of progress, plateau, another bit of progress, and then no more. Like that person will still keep doing what he has been doing, but he stops making progress, he stops challenging himself, he stops growing in anything, and he may even get bored, maybe even lonely because he doesn't find any stimulation, any fulfillment anymore in his work or anything that he's doing. And that is a common profile too. From my experience in neuro-linguistic programming, the things I'm teaching, I think this is the most common profile, because many people just got their NLP certification and then they stop. They don't do anything more with that. They consider they have arrived, whereas in any skill, as we're going to see, you usually take like 5 years to really master something, and people in NLP just get one certification and they think they have arrived. The certification, just to make a side note here, the NLP certification means you are ready to start learning by yourself. It doesn't mean you are done learning. And the last thing, the last profile, which is extremely rare, is people who will reach mastery in something, who are people who just tolerate the plateaus. They don't try to get overly obsessive to get results faster. They don't just quit when they start losing a bit of motivation. They maintain. They maintain by doing less on the short term, but by doing it longer. They keep doing longer, they keep training or practicing their craft longer, and they endure many plateaus over the long period of time, but they keep improving and improving and improving. And I discovered that with NLP myself, since it is really the one thing into which I followed this path without really knowing it. But I kept discovering, even after 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, that I'm still discovering new things, even after 10 years. So when people have done like 6 months or even just read one book and said, oh yeah, I know NLP, well, are you sure? Like, what specifically do you know about it? I think the people who are the most likely in general, in society in general, every type of people mixed together, types of profile, types of personalities, types of everything, of jobs, I think the people who are the most likely to reach mastery are the artists, people who play guitar, for example, specifically because those are people who usually practice their craft out of passion without caring that much about the final result, which could be like I'm going to be famous I'm going to be a famous musician on stage. That is the final result. If you only obsess over that, which is the case in most other fields, like guys who want to pick up girls, they just focus on, I want her in my bed, but therefore they don't really spend any time on the process of, for example, being social, talking to people, having a social circle, a few friends maybe. That is something that can open your mind. Friends exist and you can go out with them. And if you go out with your friends, it will be way less draining to approach a girl or to meet new people. But those beginners in the pickup artist field, not even sure if it still exists, but back in my day it was really a big thing. They obsess over, I want that girl. And yeah, but if you obsess over that, you're going to be depressed because you're not going to get the results as fast as you expected. The same thing happens in Make Money Online. Everybody is obsessing over massive money right away. Yeah, you're just not going to get massive money right away. For a few lucky people might, but it is out of luck. Most people get it, the ones who do, over a long period of time. So this path is technically not even possible if you focus too much on the final result, the thing you want to happen in the future, or like let's say the external result, something you will get from the external world, from the other people. You need to focus on the intrinsic gratification you are getting from practicing the thing you are doing. So if the thing you are doing is deeply painful or you hate it, you will just not sustain long enough to get massive results. And the idea is to pick something you really like, or change the thing you need to practice, adapt your practice with only or like focusing more on what you like out of all the things you need to do, starting every day, every time you have to practice your craft, starting right away by the things you like doing. That way it won't feel as draining or as demotivating as it might sound like if you just focus on the external reward. I want the money, I want the fame, I want the girls, I want the whatever is the external reward you want. You will just have much more ease to follow that path and keep going even during moments where you have less motivation, less entertainment. You will still be able to keep moving because you are getting joy from the moment of practicing and not just from the thought of getting results later down the road. So this drives us to an important question, and that is the reason for this video, this little talk called Let's Talk. It is about you're just not going to get mastery into everything. No, you will probably get mastery in one field, eventually two. Over a whole lifetime, maybe 4 or 5, when you will be 90 years old eventually. But mastery is usually something you get in one essential thing. A little story about that. When I was 21 years old, I really pondered on that question. I hadn't read that book yet, but I really pondered on that question because, as it is often the case when you are young, my mind was drifting into so many directions. I wanted to do everything. And I had to refocus myself at some point. I really enjoyed the fighting sports, for example, but I considered, do I really want to keep pushing in that field, knowing I'm going to get hurt if I keep pushing in that field? And do I really care about it enough to make all the sacrifice required to become extremely good in fighting sports and martial arts on really a top level? I decided that no, this is not something I want. So I ended up into the stagnant profile here, which is nothing bad. It's just about making a choice. Some things in life you may be satisfied with having an intermediate level or even just a beginner level if you just wanted to experience what it feels like or sound like and you're not really interested into pushing more. Why not? It depends on your life choices. But I discovered that the only thing I really cared about that much, much, was communication skills, social skills. Those were really the only things I wanted to become high above the top level into. I can't really explain why, or maybe I can, but it would take a long time. I just knew it was the things I really wanted to focus on. So most of my life has been geared toward developing skills into those areas, and now my whole life is my whole job is really centered on that. Not that I had any understanding of it 8 years ago. I literally didn't even have the beginning of the starting point of the thought about what I'm doing today. Not at all. But intuitively, I knew this was a path I wanted to follow. I knew this was a path I wanted to get to mastery with. And today, this is what allows me to live despite all the criticism and all the people all the naysayers who told me, this is not a real job. Actually, it is, but now I can do whatever I want. Not the case of people who criticized me, but another story. I just made a choice. And what I'm encouraging you to do right here is to make a choice from all the things you would like eventually to do, get into, which one really you can't live without. The one thing you could not remove from your life. Which one is that thing? Because once you have discovered what that thing is, it is way easier to make choices, to say no to things that are really not even that relevant, to say yes to things that were scary but that you need to engage into. Quite often the thing you are the most scared of is the thing you need to do the first thing you need to do, with some minor exceptions, but in most cases it is at least the good starting point or the direction in which you need to put your attention, the thing you're really scared of. And you will just keep discovering more and more beyond the point of becoming excellent at something. Beyond that point there is discovery, exploration. Musicians are quite often good explorers. They are exploring new fields of music. They are exploring, like Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, all those people, or even Michael Jackson. They are people who have experimented. They have gone beyond what was excellence. And if you just want to stay into a stagnation, into something you are enjoying anyway, why not? Like, it's fine. It's just about, are you being honest with yourself? If you're honest with yourself and you're like just stagnating on something because you are fine with your results, why not? In that case, is there really not something else your mind is drifting toward that deep down you know you would like to engage into that thing and to put your heads into it like 24/7 nonstop, with rest, of course. I'm talking more about in a long-term perspective, what are you willing to commit into and engage into that thing, basically. Another point I wanted to make about that is this whole 10,000 hours idea, which I think is really an oversimplification and is completely bullcrap in my opinion. I really don't believe into that 10,000 hours idea, you need 10,000 hours of practice before becoming a master. I don't believe in that in any way, because it is not taking into consideration, in my opinion, the most important factors. First one, are you talking about people who are naturally talented in that thing or not? Second of all, how did you measure consistency? How did you measure that they were consistent over a long period of time and didn't just do two years there, then stopped, then 5 years here? You just don't know. And people are obviously always going to say, oh yeah, I worked hard, I hustled for 10 years. This is coming out sometimes of pride, of trying to show off you have been working hard. Some people have done very little and accomplished incredible results. Those are also sometimes are people who are naturally talented. Or passion. It's another big component here. If you take even just 100 hours, or even just like 50 hours of doing something by somebody who is passionate and by somebody who hates it, the 50 hours of the one who hates that thing he's practicing will probably lead nowhere. He will barely has any sort of minimum movement or minimum skills. The one who was passionate about it from the beginning, even just 20 hours, are going to be massive. So really, it's about identifying the thing that really makes you vibrate and articulating more your life around that thing. That was a little rant here. I just wanted to get that out. I think it's a very an interesting topic. And if you want to learn more about NLP skills, what I teach, and all the things you can learn from it, there is a document in the description where you can just elaborate more on what you can change in your life with NLP skills, whether it is about persuasion, about your own mindset or things. And I will see you pretty soon, I think, in the next video.